Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Edith and I like to read books and yap about them to you guys. In case you couldn't tell by my attire or the background, welcome to the Christmas content. If you're a Christmas hater, you're not going to want to look at my channel for the next 2 months at least. I am so excited about this. You have no idea. Which is also why we're filming this on October 27. That and then the fact that this video has to go up in like my first week of starting a job for the first time in a year. And so I was like, you know what, let's get these videos done before job starts. So I kind of have my next 3 videos planned out, this one and then the next 2. And the first one today and the next one is going to be a series. If you've been here since my fall preparating series, you will know that at the start of fall, I did a 3-part series of me preparing for fall. For Christmas, we're only going to do 2 parts. We're going to do part 1 today, which is my Christmas book recommendations, my TBR. We're going to do a little journaling, both for the book journal and my personal journal, but some Christmas spreads for both of those. So everything bookish is in today's video, and then next video is the apartment. We're going to clean it, decorate it, all of that stuff. So subscribe and turn on your bell notifications so you get notified when that video comes out, because I'm very excited about it. I will in fact be decorating November 1st. I'm not going to hold back. The minute it changes from October to November, I'm Christmas. But let's get on to today's video. Also, background for this video, I have already filmed this and then accidentally deleted the footage and went into my recently deleted folder and deleted everything. Yeah, so this is going to be a refilming for me, but hopefully that means I remember a little bit more about some of the books we're going to be recommending, because let's just get into it with my Christmas book recommendations. All right, in the last video, I feel like last time I filmed it, I talked a little bit too much about each recommendation. So I want to keep this a little bit quicker and shorter because I don't want to talk too much about each book. I just want to say enough to intrigue you guys. So let's just start off. Most of these you've probably heard about from Book Talk. Some of them you might not have, so I just want to mention all of them. First, we have Window Shopping by Tessa Bailey. And this book was I think one of the first Christmas romances I ever read, and I still remember it and love it. Basically, we have a reverse grumpy sunshine situation. She is, I think, recently out of jail and therefore has a hard time finding a job. She's walking through the streets of New York, headphones in ears, grumpy, doesn't want to talk to everybody, and then she stops to look at this window display for a store. And then this guy comes up to her and annoys her by talking to her, and he's basically just like, what do you think of the Christmas display? And she basically tears it apart. She's like, it's awful, it's terrible, I hate it, it's ugly, this doesn't match, this isn't giving Christmas. And it turns out that the guy is in fact the owner of the store. And you would think he would get mad, but instead he offers her the job of window decorator, and then the two of them kind of spark up a little romance over the season. And then we have one of my favorite authors lately. I've been talking a lot about her. We have both one on my TBR and recommendations, but for recommendations, we have 'Tis the Season for Revenge by Morgan Elizabeth. I freaking love Morgan Elizabeth, especially her Christmas books. 'Tis the Season for Revenge is the first book in a series, and if you missed it in the middle of fall, I did a video of me reading fall romances, and one of the books I read there, The Fall of Bradley Reed, which is the 3rd book in that series. So it's basically Seasons of Revenge. So it's 'Tis the Season for Revenge for Christmas, Cruel Summer for summer, The Fall of Bradley Reed for fall, and The Ick Factor for spring. And Sister Season for Revenge is about a girl who, Abby, she's in this relationship. She thinks he's the love of her life. She has changed a lot of like small stuff, but like a lot of it about herself to fit into what she thinks he might want. And she's like, I think we're about to get engaged. And then Legally Blonde vibes, he dumps her ass. And then to get back at him, she gets drunk one night with her friends, cries to them, and they decide to come up with a revenge plan. They make a list of stuff to do to him, like stuffing glitter in his air vents of the car, all of that stuff. And the top thing, the best revenge of all, is none other than dating his boss. So over the Christmas season, she tries to get it in with the boss. She tries to get the boss, Damien, to invite her to their annual Christmas party so her ex can get to see them together. But then she starts falling for him, and then she feels really bad because she's kind of using him to get revenge on this guy. And I absolutely loved it. I have loved every book in this series so far, and I would fully recommend this, and I would recommend if you read it and like her writing style, to keep reading the series over the seasons. I will be reading The Ick Factor when spring rolls around. And then, same author, Big Nick Energy. You heard that right, Big Nick Energy, not the other thing. But this one is a single mom romance. So our FMC is a single mom, and she has a Tinder date with a guy. It doesn't really work out. They decide to just be friends. But he feels bad when he figures out that she's going to be spending Thanksgiving alone with her 2 daughters. So he's like, why don't you come spend Thanksgiving with me and my dad? And the dad is in fact the love interest of this book. They go to spend Thanksgiving at his place, and he tells the girls about Elf on the Shelf. And she's a single mom. She's like, why would you tell them that? That is just going to be another thing on the list of stuff I have to do for these kids. And it's going to be stressful. I can't do it. And he ends up feeling so bad that every single day of December, he drives 2 hours to her house and back again just to do the entire Elf on the Shelf thing for her kids. And I loved it. I just love Morgan Elizabeth so much. I'm popping in here really quickly while editing this video to say that I messed up with the next 3 books. I, for some reason, thought they were all written by the same author. So ignore the way I'm talking and what I'm saying when I'm mentioning the authors' names. The first 2 books are written by Catherine Walsh, and the 3rd book is written by Courtney Walsh. And I keep talking like Courtney Walsh wrote all 3 books because I thought that was a fact. So, another favorite Christmas author of mine is Courtney Walsh. First of all, she has a series. This is probably the most talked about Christmas series I have ever heard on Book Talk that people who don't even love Christmas books love. We have Holiday Romance and Snowed In. Holiday Romance is the first, Snowed In is the second, both by Courtney Walsh. And these are about Irish men. They're brothers. In the first one, the FMC and MMC, for 10 years straight, they have taken the same flight from California to Ireland. And this year, the plane can't take off because of a snowstorm, so she makes it her job to get him there. And it's again like she hates Christmas, he loves it, so she's really doing it to get him back to his family so he can get to have Christmas like he loves it. And then in the second one, we have kind of a fake dating situation. He's tired of his family looking at him like he's like sad just because he's the only single one in the family, and she just doesn't like Christmas and doesn't want to go to all this stuff with her family. So they end up doing a little fake dating situation where they go to each other's things to get their families off their back, basically, for the entire Christmas season. And I love both of these books so much. And then by the same author, we have A Cross-Country Christmas, and this is kind of like a brother's best friend situation, again, with the traveling from one place to another, the trying to get home for Christmas. Love that trope in a Christmas book. She used to have this huge crush on her brother's best friend, and then something happened, I think, that made her decide to get over that, and now she hates him. And she also, again, doesn't like Christmas, doesn't want to go home, but because her brother and his wife are having a baby, she's like, oh, okay, well then I have to come. And then the brother asks his best friend to drive her home for Christmas. Driving home for Christmas. Oh God. Yeah. I can already feel it. November 1st, Christmas is happening. Christmas music, movies, all of it, I don't care. Next up, we have In a Holidays by Christina Lauren. And this one is, like, with 'Tis the Season for Revenge, one of the first Christmas books I ever read 2 years ago. But it's basically like a Groundhog Day situation. And if you don't know what a Groundhog Day situation is, it's basically when you live the same day over and over again. Like Happy Death Day. Yeah, those movies, but in a Christmas version. Again, we have an FMC who does not love Christmas, but she loves the cabin they go to every single year to celebrate Christmas with the family. This year, however, she gets told that they're gonna have to sell the cabin. So she's very upset, and then on the way home from the cabin in the car, she is about to fall asleep, and she looks up to God or whoever, and she's like, please show me what will make me happy. And then the next thing she knows, they're in a car crash. She blinks, wakes up, and she's on the plane going back to the vacation. So it's not Groundhog Day, but it's like the entire Christmas break. And she keeps reliving it over and over again while having to try to figure out how she's gonna be really happy. But that was in fact all of my recommendations for you guys. So like, let me know over the Christmas seasons if you read any of them, if you have read any of them, and let's just get into my TBR. And my TBR is gonna be really rapid fire. I'm just gonna mention the titles, pop them up on the screen. Some of them I might say like a thing or two about, but that's about it. I have, for the first time ever, I actually have 3 of them physically. And a little extra shout out to Good Spirits by B.K. Borson, because I think I might go and buy that book the 30th of October, because I might be able to get it on sale. And if I can get it on sale, then it's also on my TBR, but it's not fully on my TBR. So let's honestly just get into it. We have Faking Under the Mistletoe, fake dating. I keep hearing about this, and it was also on my TBR last year. Didn't get to it. And then we have My Favorite Holiday. Again, I've heard a lot about this book, but I've also just loved the cover. It's very like sexy. Like, I have a feeling this is gonna be a quick, easy, spicy Christmas book. Then we have, this one I can actually mention physically, The Christmas Escape by Sarah Morgan. I read another Sarah Morgan book this summer, funny enough, called Other People's Summers, that I really enjoyed. It wasn't like I loved it, but I feel like her books are gonna be like these quick and easy reads. And I bought this one as like a used book on Facebook, and it's also gonna be like a mix of literary fiction and romance, which the summer book also was. Like, the romance is kind of a very big side plot, and I like that. Also because a lot of these books are heavy on the romance, so I tried my best to push in a few books on the TBR that some of them aren't romance at all, and then some of them, like this one, is just like a side plot of romance. And I just can't wait to see what happens with this book. Then we have Make My Wish Come True by Rachel Lippincott and Allison Derrick. And I love She Gets the Girl by the same authors. I need to reread that, actually, because it's been a while, but I remember loving that and giving it 5 stars. And I love the movie 5 Feet Apart, which they wrote the book for that. Never read the book, not sure I'm ever gonna. But this is, again, if you can't tell from the cover, a queer Christmas romance book. Again, this is short, but not short enough to be a novella. And yeah, this one I bought when I was working at the bookstore last Christmas, because I bought it on sale too, because it has like a little line on the cover, but you literally can't see in the video. You can see right there, and like a dead bear and more right there, but I didn't really care, and I really wanted this because I love the authors. another book that is to get something in between the romance books, we have Krampus by Brom. In case you don't know, Brom writes horror books, and this is a horror book about Krampus. And if you don't know who Krampus is, look it up. It's, you know, it's Christmas lore, okay? So, a Christmas horror book? Yes, please. Yes, freaking please. And I know I'm gonna need a break from all the happy, go-getting Christmas romances. But with that said, probably highest on my Christmas TBR, Holiday Ever After by Hannah Grace. This is the one that's also on Kindle Unlimited, but I want it physically because I have her other books physically, sorry. And I can't, this is, yeah. I'm so happy to have this in my hand right now. But if you don't know, Hannah Grace wrote the Maple Hills series, the Icebreaker, Wildfire, Daydream, and I loved every single book in that series. So when I saw she was coming out with a Christmas book, gimme. I want it right now. And I got it. My mom actually got it for me in Germany, and I'm so excited. If you remember, the author I started this entire video off with, Morgan Elizabeth, in the fall reading romance, I mentioned that I was hoping she would come out with a Christmas book this year, and she obliged. Not because I said I wanted it, because I figured out in that video that she was doing it. The Bright Side of Christmas by Morgan Elizabeth. I don't even need to know what this is about. The cover, first of all, cute. Once I get space and money for it, I'm buying all of her books physically, especially her Christmas books, and then the series they belong in. I'm gonna have a shrine to her, and I'm so excited about this book. And then we have The Plight Before Christmas. The Plight Before Christmas is by Kate Stewart, and I know she has a series out that people really love. I haven't read any of them. I don't remember the name of the series. Maybe I'll like write it somewhere so you guys know what I'm talking about. But I've again heard a lot of people love this. A lot of people who don't like Christmas books love this book, and maybe it's gonna get me to want to read more of her books, and then I can get into that series and everything. But I'm just very excited about that. And then the last two books on my TBR are again outside of my comfort zone, not romances, and low-key something I'm so excited about. The first one is A Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens. This was not on sale, but it was extremely cheap to buy on Kindle. And so I bought it, and now I have it on my Kindle. And if you don't know, it's a classic. There are so many like movie remakes of it, and yeah. And I just feel like it's like a book and Christmas lovers perfect read, so I need to get to that. And then the last book, we have The Scary Book of Christmas Lore, 50 Terrifying Yuletide Tales from Around the World. I have to look at my computer for that, sorry. But yeah, it's basically in the title. This is a horror book. It's 50 scary short stories about different like Christmas lore, basically, and it just sounded perfect for like a little book you can read. But that was actually all of my TBR and recommendations and all of that. So now we can get into the we're done. I'm very happy that I decided to go with the background here. It may look chaotic. I also feel like the camera is very bad at like picking it up. But on one side we have, okay, I can't get this down there, bro. On one side we have my Christmas TBR. We have Christmas TBR, which this is again one of these background papers, and then I just cut out these letters of the alphabet, put on some of the stickers, some of the paper stuff, and then wrote the entire TBR down. And then I actually also put good spirits on here, but I put it in like a parenthesis, so it's like a maybe. And then this page, we just have the background, and then I put this little sticker on here, and then some gloves, this gingerbread man, and a little globe. And then we have the 9 books on my TBR. We do have 10, but like I said, good spirits is a maybe, so I didn't put it over here. But without further ado, that is all for today's video. If you did enjoy it, do not forget to give it a big fat like, comment what I said earlier down below, turn on your bell notifications, subscribe, and turn on your bell notifications so you get notified next Saturday once we decorate this son of a bitch. And Merry Christmas, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye.